My name is Ariana. I'm sitting in my new, small apartment, the silence only broken by the hum of the refrigerator. It's been a few months since I left that place I once called home, and yet the memories still sting. It all came to a head on that fateful Thursday evening. I was excited about our upcoming cabin trip, a weekend getaway we'd been planning for over a month. I'd taken Friday off work, packed our hiking gear, made reservations at a restaurant he'd casually mentioned, and even bought that stupid fancy hot chocolate mix. But when he came home that night, I knew something was wrong. He didn't kiss me hello, just dropped his bag by the door and leaned against the counter, his phone in his hand like a shield. He was smiling at something on the screen, not at me. "Hey," I said, trying to keep my voice light. "All packed for tomorrow." He looked up for a split second, and I saw it. A flicker, not panic, but something closer to calculation. "Yeah," he said. "About that." My stomach tightened. "About what?" He exhaled like I was making him do hard labor. "Dylan called. He's my best friend. His girlfriend ended things, and he's wrecked. A bunch of the guys are putting together a last-minute trip to the beach to get him out of his head. They're leaving tomorrow morning." I couldn't process it at first. It was like he'd spoken a foreign language in the middle of our kitchen. "You're leaving tomorrow morning?" I asked, my voice cracking. He nodded like it was the most obvious thing in the world. "But we have the cabin," I said slowly. "We've had it planned for a month. I took Friday off. I made reservations." He finally looked at me fully, his eyes soft enough to seem sincere but empty enough to stay safe. "I'm sorry, but Dylan really needs me right now." I stared at him. "Can't the other guys handle it? Why does it have to be you?" His jaw tightened. "Because he's my best friend, Ariana. And I'm your girlfriend," I blurted out. "And this is the third time this month you've canceled on me." His face shifted instantly, defensive and offended. "I'm not canceling on you. I'm being there for someone who actually needs me." I heard myself say, "From where I'm standing, it feels like everyone else's needs come before our relationship." He snapped, "That's not fair. I'm allowed to have friendships." I was shaking now. "I'm not saying you can't. I'm saying I'm tired of being the fallback option, the plan you do when nothing better comes up." His eyes flashed. "Nothing better? Are you serious right now? My best friend is heartbroken, and you're making this about you?" I said, "I'm making this about the pattern. About how I plan things and you cancel them. About how I'm starting to feel like I don't matter to you anymore." His face flushed red, and he got louder. "Oh my God, you're so controlling." The word hit me like a bucket of cold water. He lifted his hands like he was surrendering to an unreasonable person. "You don't control what I do with my life." The kitchen went quiet. After a long moment of staring at him, something in me stopped. Not my love, not my pain, but the part that kept trying to fix it. I exhaled, and my voice was calm. "You're absolutely right." He blinked, surprised by the sudden lack of fight. "So, you understand why I need to go?" I nodded. "I understand perfectly." He relaxed immediately, like my compliance soothed him more than my feelings ever did. "Good. I'll be back Monday. We'll talk then." "Have a good trip," I said, and then I walked into the bedroom and closed the door. I heard him moving around the apartment, packing without a hint of guilt. Around 9 o'clock, the front door opened and closed. A little later, my phone lit up with a message from him, "Staying at Dylan's tonight, leaving early tomorrow. I'll be back Monday evening. Love you." I stared at the message until the screen dimmed and didn't respond. That night, I did something I'd never done before. I opened his laptop. It didn't have a password I didn't know, which should have made me laugh. The messaging app was right there on the dock. I clicked on the thread labeled Dylan. As I scrolled through the messages, my worst fears were confirmed. There was no breakup. The beach trip had been planned for weeks. Dylan was complicit. They were just using me as a pawn in their game. Then, I found her. Lily. She was his ex-girlfriend, the one he always described as being in the past. But the messages between them were full of warmth, intimacy, and daily contact. He was complaining about me to her, and she was validating him. The flirting was getting heavier, and I saw a message from a couple of days ago. Lily, can't wait for this weekend. The beach house is going to be perfect. He's getting out of the cabin thing. I felt like the room was spinning. This wasn't a misunderstanding. He was building a life without me while still enjoying the stability I provided. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I planned. I'm not a woman who acts on impulse. I'm the kind who makes lists. I opened the notes app on my phone and wrote 3 columns: mine, ours, I paid his. I walked through the apartment quietly, barefoot. The couch was mine, bought before we moved in together. The TV, the bed frame and mattress, the kitchen table, the coffee maker, the microwave, the good pots and pans, the bookshelf, and most of the decor were all mine. I realized I was the one who made that place feel like a home. By Sunday afternoon, my decision was clear. I wasn't going to have a conversation with him because it would just turn into a negotiation. If he wanted space, I'd give him all the space in the world. Sunday evening, I called my older sister, Elise. She answered on the second ring. Hey, you okay? You sound weird, she said. I need help moving tomorrow, I told her. There was a pause. Moving where? I found a place across town. I already put down a deposit. Another pause. Ariana, what happened? I stared at the dark window, my reflection looking back like a stranger. I'll tell you everything tomorrow. But I need you in 2 strong bodies with a truck early. Elise didn't ask again. She knew that tone, the tone of a woman who stopped hoping and started acting. I'll be there, and I'm bringing Dad's old dolly. I hung up and went back to the kitchen. I took out a sheet of paper and started drafting the note. It was short, final. You're right. I don't control what you do with your life, but I do control what I do with mine. I found the messages with Dylan, with Lily. I know the trip was planned. I know she was going. I know you've been lying to me for months. The lease is in both our names. You're legally entitled to stay, but everything that was mine is now at my new place. Rent is due on the 1st. Don't contact me. We're done. Ariana. Monday morning, Elise pulled up in front of the building with a borrowed truck. My cousin, Jake, and my longtime friend, Ryan, were with her. They didn't ask questions. They just looked at my face and understood this was about survival. We worked fast. By noon, everything that was mine was gone. The apartment looked like a stage after the actors had left. His clothes were still in the closet, his shoes lined the wall, but the place was empty of the things that made it a home. I placed the note on the counter and set my key on top of it. The metal made a soft, final sound when it landed. We drove away at 12:43 p.m. I didn't look back. My new apartment was smaller, but it was perfect. It was free of the lies and the broken promises. That evening, his texts started coming in. Where is everything? Ariana, what the hell is going on? Did you break in and steal our stuff? This is insane. You can't just take everything. Call me. We need to talk. I can explain about Lily. It's not what you think. I blocked his number. Then he started calling from unknown numbers. I blocked them all. At 9:04 p.m. There was a knock at the door. It was him, pounding and shouting. Ariana, open the door. We need to talk. I didn't move. For 20 minutes, he knocked, apologized, got angry, and threatened. Then the hallway went quiet. The next day, the leasing office called. He was saying I'd removed all the furniture. I calmly explained that everything I removed was mine and that I was terminating my part of the lease. He posted a long, emotional narrative online about being abandoned while helping a friend, about coming home to an empty apartment, about cruelty and theft. People I barely knew started commenting, saying I was abusive. I didn't respond publicly. Instead, I messaged 3 people who knew both of us. I sent them screenshots, just the facts. I said, I'm not asking you to take sides. I just want you to know the truth before you judge me. 2 of them replied, saying they were sorry and that they had no idea. The third said I was wrong for how I handled it, and I accepted that. By Friday, the comments on his post started to change. People were asking about Lily, about why the trip was planned weeks in advance. That evening, the post disappeared. I didn't feel victorious. I just felt done. Then, an email came in. The subject line was "Please read this." I stared at it for a long time before opening it. He wrote that nothing physical had happened with Lily, that she was just a friend from work he reconnected with. He said he caught feelings but never acted on them, that he stayed loyal in the ways that really mattered. He described coming home to the empty apartment, how he was shocked and couldn't stop shaking. He said what I did was extreme and cruel and that he was asking for compassion. For a moment, I almost responded. The part of me that had loved him for years wanted to soften things. But then I realized that even now, he was still framing himself as a victim. He didn't take responsibility for his actions. I deleted the email. 6 weeks passed. Life settled into a new rhythm. I learned the quirks of my new apartment, the way the hallway light flickered at night, the neighbor who played music too loud on Thursdays. I heard through mutual friends that he'd moved in with a roommate and that his relationship with Lily only lasted 2 weeks. Some people still thought I was a monster, but I didn't care. I knew I was finally free. My sister, Elise, asked me if I had regrets. About leaving? She asked. No, I said immediately. About how you did it? I thought about it. Sometimes. But if I'd done it gently, he would have rewritten the story anyway. At least this way, the truth came out. She nodded. You're allowed to choose yourself. I went on a couple of dates, nothing serious. I was looking for peace. For the first time in years, I made plans that actually happened. I went hiking alone, cooked meals on my own schedule, and stopped feeling like I was competing with ghosts. He sent one final email. I deleted it unread. Some explanations come too late to matter, and some people don't need to understand why you left. They just need to live with the space you created when you finally did. I emptied that apartment not to punish him but to show myself that I was never asking for too much. I was just asking the wrong person.